Hello, I'm Randy Rice, president of the Kirk Players Community Theater. We are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to enrich, educate, and entertain our audiences by providing a superior theater experience. We strive to give back to our community with an emphasis on the arts and to create a safe and inclusive environment. This is our 55th season of performing, and in that time, we've been fortunate to have been able to raise and donate over $150,000 for our community. During these difficult times, we pray that you're staying safe and appreciate that you're joining us for this performance. We know that times are tough for everyone, and although this show is our gift to you, we sincerely appreciate and welcome any and all donations to help us advance the arts in our community. Please visit us at our website, www.kirkplayers.org, and click on the link to donate. We thank you so much for your support. And now I'd like to introduce the director of our show tonight, Mr. John Leslie Lynn.
Hello and welcome to the Kirk Players production of Words of Love. My name is John Leslie Lynn, and it has been my pleasure to direct this wonderful project. We are so blessed to have so many talented performers from so many different backgrounds join us tonight, both Kirk Players and many guest performers. They will be performing a wide array of love poems, both modern and classical, serious and silly, as well as a good sprinkling of Shakespeare. I had a lot of fun picking out all the selections, and I truly believe that there is something here that everyone can enjoy. Special thanks go out to Randy Rice, our assistant director, Jessica Ratanasena, our virtual tech director, Megan Lane, our PR director, and Gretchen Grassel, our artistic director for the Kirk Players. We hope to add some romance to your Valentine's Day weekend. Thank you for tuning in. So sit back and enjoy Words of Love.
By Nikki Giovanni. I love you because the earth turns round the sun, because the north wind blows north sometimes, because the Pope is Catholic and most rabbis Jewish, because the winters flow into springs and the air clears after a storm, because only my love for you, despite the charms of gravity, stops me from falling off this earth into another dimension. I love you because it is the natural order of things. I love you like the habit I picked up in college of sleeping through lectures or saying I'm sorry when I get stopped for speeding. Because I drink a glass of water in the morning and chain smoke cigarettes all through the day. Because I drink my coffee black and my milk with chocolate. Because you keep my feet warm, though my life a mess. I love you because I don't want it any other way. I am helpless in my love for you. I am so happy to hear you call my name. I am amazed you can resist locking me in an echo chamber where your voice reverberates through the four walls, sending spasmodic ecstasy all through my body. I love you because It's been so good for so long that if I didn't love you, I'd have to be born again. And that is not a theological statement. I am pitiful in my love for you. The Dells tell me love is so simple. The thought, though, of you sends indescribably delicious, multitudinous thrills throughout and through in my body. I love you because no two snowflakes are alike, and it is possible, if you stand tippy-toe, to walk between the raindrops. I love you because I am afraid of the dark and can't sleep in the light, because I rub my eyes when I wake up in the morning and find you there, because you, with all your magic powers, decided that I would love you, because there was nothing for you but that I should love you. I love you because you made me want to love you more than I love my privacy, my freedom, my commitments and responsibilities. I love you because I changed my life to love you. Because you saw me one Friday afternoon and decided that I would love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
She Walks in Beauty by George Gordon Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired that nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease have all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, that a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my beautiful Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
Sonnet number 148 by William Shakespeare. Oh me, what eyes hath love put in my head, which have no correspondence with true sight? Or if they have, where is my judgment fled, that censures falsely what they see aright? If that be fair, whereon my false eyes dote, what means the world to say it is not so? If it be not, then love doth well denote. Love's eye is not so true as all men's know. How can it? Oh, how can love's eye be true that is so vexed with watching and with tears? No marvel then, though I mistake my view, the sun itself sees not till heaven clears. Oh, cunning love, with tears thou keep'st me blind, lest eyes well seeing thy foul faults should find. On Love by Khalil Gibran. Then said Almitra, speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, when love beckons you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings unfold, you yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so he is for your pruning.
even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun. So shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace or love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you will laugh, but not all of your laughter, and you will weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and it takes not but from itself. For love is sufficient unto love. And when you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love. For love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, and must needs have desires, let these be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude. And then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips.
Sonnet 138 by William Shakespeare. When my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies, that she might think me some untutored youth, unlearned in the world's false subtleties, thus vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows my days are past the best. Simply I credit her false-speaking tongue. On both sides thus is simple truth suppressed. But wherefore says she not she is unjust? And wherefore say not I that I am old? Oh, love's best habit is in seeming trust, and age in love loves not to have years told. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our faults through lies we flattered be.
The Passionate Shepherd to His Love by Christopher Marlowe. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that valleys and groves, hills and fields, woods or steepy mountain yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds singing madrigals. and I will make these beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle, embroidered all with leaves of myrtle, a gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty land we pull, fair lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasp and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. The shepherds swain shall dance and sing for thy delight each May morning. If these delights thy mind may move, come live with me and be my love.
Sonnet 105 by William Shakespeare. Let not my love be called idolatry, nor my beloved as an idol show, since all alike my songs and praises be to one of one, still such and ever so. Kind is my love today, tomorrow kind, still constant in a wondrous excellence. Therefore my verse to constancy confined. One thing expressing leaves out difference. Fair, kind, and true is all my argument. Fair, kind, and true, varying to other words, and in this change is my invention spent. Three themes in one, which wondrous scope affords. Fair, kind, and true have often lived alone, which three till now never kept seat in one.
To His Coy Mistress by Andrew Marvell. Had we but whirled enough in time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. We would sit down and think which way to walk to pass our long love's day. Thou by the Indian Ganges side shouldst rubies find. I by the tide of Humber would complain. I would love you 10 years before the flood, and you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. My vegetable love should grow vaster than empires and more slow. And 100 years should go to praise thine eyes, and on thy forehead gaze. 200 to adore each breast, but 30,000 to the rest. An age at least to every part. And the last age should show your heart. For lady, you deserve this state, nor would I love at lower rate. But at my back I always hear Time's winged chariot hurrying near, and yonder all before us lie deserts of vast eternity. Thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in thy marble vault shall sound my echoing song. Then worms shall try that long preserved virginity, and your quaint honor turn to dust, and into ashes all my lust. The grave's a fine and private place, but none I think do there embrace. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew, and while thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires, now let us sport us while we may, and now, like amorous birds of prey, rather at once our time devour than languish in his slow-chapped power. Let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball, and tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. Thus, though we cannot make our sun stand still, yet we will make him run.
Touched by an Angel by Maya Angelou. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high, holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet, if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity. In the flush of love's light, we dare be brave. And suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet it is only love which sets us free.
Sonnet number 29 by William Shakespeare. When, in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art, that man's scope, and with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet, in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark, at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Sonnet 11 by Pablo Neruda. I crave your mouth, your voice, your hair. Silent and starving, I prowl through the streets. Bread does not nourish me. Dawn disrupts me. All day I hunt for the liquid measure of your steps. I hunger for your sleek laugh, your hands the color of a savage harvest. Hunger for the pale stones of your fingernails. I want to eat your skin like a whole almond. I want to eat the sunbeam flaring in your lovely body, the sovereign nose of your arrogant face. I want to eat the fleeting shade of your lashes, and I pace around, hungry, sniffing the twilight, hunting for you, for your hot heart like a puma in the barrens of Queechwatu.
Sonnet 19 by William Shakespeare. Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleetest, and do whate'er thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime. Oh, carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no line there with thy antique pen. Him in thy course untainted do allow, for beauty patterns to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young.
Somewhere I Have Never Traveled, Gladly Beyond, by E. E. Cummings. Somewhere I have never traveled, gladly beyond any experience, Your eyes have their silence. In your most frail gesture are things which enclose me, or which I cannot touch because they are too near. Your slightest look easily will unclose me, though I have closed myself as fingers. You open always, petal by petal, myself, as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously, her first rose. Or if your wish be to close me, I and my life will shut very beautifully. Suddenly, as when the heart of this flower imagines the snow, carefully, everywhere, descending. Nothing which we are to perceive in this world equals the power of your intense fragility, whose texture compels me with the color of its countries, rendering death and forever with each breathing. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens. Only something in me understands the voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses. Nobody, not even the rain, has such small hands.
Sonnet 63 by William Shakespeare. Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand crushed and o'erworn, when hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath travelled on to age's steepy night, and all those beauties whereof now he's king are vanishing or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time I do now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, so that he can never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life, his beauty, shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he in them still green.
A Red, Red Rose by Robert Burns. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun. Oh, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands o' life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles.
Sonnet 132 by William Shakespeare. Thine eyes I love, and they, as pitying me, knowing thy heart torments me with disdain, have put on black, and loving mourners be, looking with pretty ruth upon my pain. And truly not the morning sun of heaven better becomes the grey cheeks of the east, nor that full star that ushers in the even doth half that glory to the sober west, as those two morning eyes become thy face. Oh, let it then as well beseem thy heart to mourn for me, since morning doth thee grace, and suit thy pity like in every part. Then will I swear beauty herself is black, and all they foul that thy complexion lack.
Unending Love by Rabindranath Tagore. I seem to have loved you in numberless forms, numberless times, in life after life, in age after age, forever. My spellbound heart has made and remade the necklace of songs that you take as a gift, wear round your neck in your many forms. In life after life, in age after age, forever. Whenever I hear old chronicles of love, its age-old pain, its ancient tale of being apart or together, as I stare on and on into the past, in the end you emerge, clad in the light of a pole star, piercing the darkness of time. You become an image of what is remembered forever. You and I have floated here on the stream that brings from the fount. At the heart of time, love of one for another. We have played alongside millions of lovers, shared in the same shy sweetness of meeting, the same distressful tears of farewell. Old love, but in shapes that renew and renew forever. Today it is heaped at your feet. It has found its end in you, the love of all man's days, past and forever. Universal joy, universal sorrow, universal life. The memories of all loves merging with this one love of ours. And the songs of every poet, past and forever.
Sonnet 27 by William Shakespeare. Weary with toil, I haste me to my bed, the dear repose for limbs with travel tired. But then begins a journey in my head, to work my mind when body's work's expired. For then my thoughts, from far where I abide, intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and keep my drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness, which the blind do see, save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my sightless view, which, like a jewel hung in ghastly night, makes black night beauteous, and her old face new. Lo, thus by day my limbs, by night my mind, for thee and for myself no quiet find.
In Excelsis by Amy Lowell. You, your shadow is sunlight on a plate of silver. Your footsteps, the seeding place of lilies. Your hands moving, a chime of bells across a windless air. The movement of your hands is the long golden running of light from a rising sun. It is the hopping of birds upon a garden path. As a perfume of jonquils, you come forth in the morning. Young horses are not more sudden than your thoughts. Your words are bees about a pear tree. Your fancies are the gold and black striped wasps buzzing among red apples. I drink your lips. I eat the whiteness of your hands and feet. My mouth is open. As a new jar, I am empty and open. Like white water, you who fill the cup of my mouth. Like a brook of water thronged with lilies. You are frozen as the clouds. You are far and sweet as the high clouds. I dare to reach you. I dare to touch the rim of your brightness. I leap beyond the winds. I cry and shout, for my throat is keen as is a sword sharpened on a hone of ivory. My throat sings the joy of my eyes, the rushing gladness of my love. How has the rainbow fallen upon my heart? How have I snared the seas to lie in my fingers and caught the sky to be a cover for my head? How have you come to dwell with me, compassing me with the four circles of your mystic lightness, so that I say glory, glory, and bow before you as to a shrine? Do I tease myself that morning is morning and a day after? Do I think the air is a condescension, the earth a politeness, heaven a boon deserving thanks? So you, air, earth, heaven, I do not thank you. I take you. I live, and those things which I say in consequence are rubies mortised in a gate of stone.
This is Sonnet 55 by William Shakespeare. Not marble, nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme. But you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone besmeared with sluttish time. When wasteful war shall statues overturn, and broils root out the work of masonry, nor Mars his sword, nor war's quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory. 'Gainst death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth. Your praise shall still find room, even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to the ending doom. So, till the judgment that yourself arise, you live in this and dwell in lovers' eyes.
I, being born a woman and distressed, by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I, being born a woman and distressed by all the needs and notions of my kind, am urged by your propinquity to find your person fair, and feel a certain zest to bear your body's weight upon my breast. So subtly is the fume of life designed to clarify the pulse and cloud the mind, and leave me once again undone, possessed. Think not for this, however, the poor treason of my stout blood against my staggering brain. I shall remember you with love, or season my scorn with pity. Let me make it plain. I find this frenzy insufficient reason for conversation when we meet again.
Sonnet 109 by William Shakespeare. Oh, never say that I was false of heart, though absence seemed my flame to qualify. As easy might I from myself depart, as from my soul, which in thy breast doth lie. That is my home of love. If I have ranged like him that travels, I return again, just to the time, not with the time exchanged, so that myself bring water for my stain. Never believe, though in my nature reigned all frailties that besiege all kinds of blood, that it could so preposterously be stained to leave for nothing all thy sum of good. For nothing, this wide universe I call, save thou, my rose. In it, thou art my all.
Love's Philosophy by Percy Bysshe Shelley. The fountains mingle with the rivers, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single. All things by a law divine in one spirit meet and mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. Well, no sister flower would be forgiven if it stained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What is all this sweet work worth, if thou kiss not me?
Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Corals far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare.
Sonnet 2 by William Shakespeare. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked, where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasures of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, were an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserve thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count, and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feel'st it cold.
Valentine by Carol Ann Duffy. Not a red rose or a satin heart. I give you an onion. It is a moon wrapped in brown paper. It promises light, like the careful undressing of love. Here, it will blind you with tears, like a lover. It will make your reflection a wobbling photo of grief. I am trying to be truthful, not a cute card or a kissogram. I give you an onion. Its fierce kiss will stay on your lips, possessive and faithful as we are, for as long as we are. Take it. Its platinum loops shrink to a wedding ring, if you like. lethal. Its scent will cling to your fingers, cling to your knife.
Sonnet number 30 by William Shakespeare. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh at the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er the sad account of fore bemoaned moan, while I new pay as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end.
I Am Not Yours by Sarah Teasdale. I am not yours, not lost in you, not lost, although I long to be lost as a candle lit at noon, lost as a snowflake in the sea. You love me, and I find you still a spirit beautiful and bright, yet I am I who long to be lost as the light is lost in light. Oh, plunge me deep in love, put out my senses, leave me deaf and blind, swept by the tempest of your love, a taper in a rushing wind.
Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediment. Love is not love which alters when it an alteration finds, or bends with a remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass comes. Love alters not with its brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even unto the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
How Do I Love Thee? Sonnet 43 by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feelings out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet needs by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use with my old griefs and with my childhood faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saint. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
Sonnet 23 by William Shakespeare. As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or Some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength abundance weakens his own heart. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, o'ercharged with burthen of my own love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense more than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Love by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. All thoughts, all passions, all delights, whatever stirs this mortal frame, all are but ministers of love and feed his sacred flame. Oft in my waking dreams do I live o'er again that happy hour, when midway on the mount I lay beside the ruined tower. The moonshine stealing o'er the scene had blended with the lights of eve. And she was there, my hope, my joy, my own dear Genevieve. She leant against the armed man, the statue of the armed knight. She stood and listened to my lay amid the lingering light. Few sorrows hath she of her own, my hope, my joy, my Genevieve. She loves me best whene'er I sing the songs that make her grieve. I played a soft and doleful air. I sang an old and moving story, an old rude song that suited well that ruin wild and hoary. She listened with a flitting blush, with downcast eyes and modest grace, for well she knew I could not choose but gaze upon her face. I told her of the knight that wore upon his shield a burning brand, and that for 10 long years he wooed the lady of the land. I told her how he pined, and the deep, the low, the pleading tone with which I sang another's love interpreted my own. She listened with a flitting blush, with downcast eyes and modest grace. And she forgave me that I gazed too fondly on her face. But when I told the cruel scorn that crazed that bold and lovely knight, and that he crossed the mountain woods nor rested day nor night, that sometimes from the savage den, and sometimes from the darksome shade, and sometimes starting up at once in green and sunny glade, came and looked him in the face, an angel, beautiful and bright, and that he knew it was a fiend, this miserable knight, and that unknowing what he did, he leaped amid a murderous band, and saved from outrage worse than death the lady of the land. And how she wept and clasped his knees, and how she tended him in vain, and ever strove to expiate the scorn that crazed his brain. And that she nursed him in a cave, how his madness went away, when on the yellow forest leaves a dying man he lay. His dying words, but when I reached that tenderest strain of all the ditty, my faltering voice and pausing harp disturbed her soul with pity. All impulses of soul and sense had thrilled my guileless Genevieve. The music and the doleful tale, the rich and balmy eve, and hopes and fears that kindle hope, an undistinguishable throng, and gentle wishes long subdued and cherished long. She wept with pity and delight. She blushed with love and virgin shame, and like the murmur of a dream,
I heard her breathe my name. Her bosom heaved. She stepped aside. As conscious of my look she stepped. Then suddenly, with timorous eye, she fled to me and wept. She half enclosed me with her arms. She pressed me with a meek embrace. Bending back her head, looked up and gazed upon my face. 'Twas partly love and partly fear, and partly 'twas a bashful art, that I might rather feel than see the swelling of her heart. I calmed her fears, and she was calm, and told her love with virgin pride. And so I won my Genevieve, my bright and beauteous bride.
Thank you for joining us for Words of Love. We hope you enjoyed the show and that the rest of your Valentine's Day weekend is warm and wonderful. To learn more about the Kirk Players, our other upcoming shows, and how to make a donation, go to kirkplayers.org. Thank you, good night, and be safe.
Thank you.